Hi, my name is Roger Myers. I work here at Lehman's, and I do a lot with the outside gardening out here. I also have a big garden at home, about a half-acre, and I do a lot of experimenting and trying different things. And so we're going to talk a little bit. Sarah asked me a question about what I'm doing here with the straw in the beds. Well, last fall I put some actual paper down here to help control some of the weeds. And then I also put straw on top of it so that it would help keep the moisture in there and also help keep the paper in place so it didn't blow away. But as you can tell, if you move the straw back, when you take some of the paper back, the soil is nice and moist. It's got a nice, what I call mellow looking feel to it, where it'll be easy to plant in there here in a few weeks when we start putting some stuff in the garden here at Lehman's. We're going to be planting a few vegetables, probably a lot of flowers so we can have more color. But we try to do a lot of different things, and I like to do a lot of experimenting anyway. Even at home I do a lot of experimenting. Some of the things, like I've already got some onions in the ground right now, both bulbs as well as the plants here, trying to get a jump on it this year. I've got some peas in there. Didn't get them in on March the 17th at St. Patty's Day, but it was about 5 days late, but it'll be fine. I still want to plant some more peas. They haven't sprouted yet, but I'm sure that they will. But so I'm kind of anxious. I get excited about working in the garden. To me, that's my way of unwinding for the day instead of having to go read a book or something. I'm not real great on reading books anyway, but I like to tinker. Yeah, I like to do a lot of experimenting. One of the things that I'm doing right now at home in my gardening is where I'll take and put like a newspaper, like 3 or 4 sheets of newspaper down, then I'll put about a couple inches of compost down, and then I'll put, in the spring of the year when I do it, I put usually about 4 inches of like a cheap junk mulch. It's not bark, but it's like some wood chips, and it's tree trimmer clippings and chips and stuff. I put that down, and then I'll move the bark back and plant in the compost and in the soil that'd be underneath that. So I can plant in there. Ideally doing it in the fall is better because it does give time for the wood mulch and stuff to break down a little bit over the winter, and then you just grow your vegetables and flowers and stuff in that. But the nice thing about that is you don't have very many weeds. I mean, the dandelions will come through, your thistles will come through, but any other type of weed does not come through that for the most part. And so it's kind of nice, especially when I'm here at Lehman's all week. I don't have time to go home and pull weeds. So I found that this is a good way for me to garden. The crops do well with it because this stuff's going to break down. So then after I do that this year, I'll turn around and do it again next fall, in the fall, putting again another layer of newspaper down, another layer of compost, another layer of the wood mulch down on top of that. So I do that every year, and there's no rototilling. So, and it helps to make the soil nice and black looking. It's really nice and rich, and it just keeps building that soil up and keeps working at it. I mean, I do use fish emollients down there to help because of the wood chip. It's going to take away some of the nitrogen. So by using either blood meal or fish emollients, you're kind of putting that nitrogen back in the ground for that plant to use in there. So I just do that right in the row with the plants. So I do a lot of that. I do a foliage feeding. So that's basically about all that I use for using any fertilizers, and it's all natural. I don't use any chemical type fertilizers. I use no chemicals because I like to stay away from all that because I don't think that's good for us. And so I do a lot of that. A lot of the things that I have, both in tools that I use and a lot of the seeds that I use, I do get here at Lehman's. They have a good supply of that kind of stuff here. So I do use a lot of that kind of stuff. There's other things that I have to find elsewhere because the Lehman's at this point don't have that kind of stuff. But it's nice to know that I have a place that I can come and grab this stuff, and take it home and get right after it. So.